UFP, the United Federation of Podcasts.
Infinite diversity.
Live long and prosper, and welcome to Infinite Diversity, a Star Trek Universe podcast here on the United Federation of Podcast Network. I'm your host for today, Brandon Shea Mutella, and joining me are my co-hosts, Chrissy and Thad. Chrissy, how you doing today? You're looking a little stressed out there. You're freaking out, and is everything okay?
I think I'm seeing after images of people who died here. I'm not sure though.
Oh, okay.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, that happens sometimes.
It does. It does.
Yeah, that's okay. Thad, how are you doing?
I don't know. I'm feeling a great sense of love.
Great sense of love. Me too. You know what?
Lucky.
It feels like love in here.
Oh God.
Yeah, that was kind of weird when they started like moaning after they said that. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Yes, it was.
Just a bit.
I pre-apologized to you guys in our thread. I said I'm sorry for my intro. So
That's all right.
Anywho, Thad,
Brandon,
fly good.
I'll try.
Okay, good. Right on. Anyways, we are here to talk about Star Trek Discovery's 11th episode. But before we jump into our topic, we'd like to take a moment to thank our Patreon patrons who make our show possible, particularly our associate producers, David Willett and Justin Oser. Listeners, we'd love to add your name to this list, and we can do that with your monthly subscription of just $10 a month at patreon.com/UFPEarth. Okay, so let's jump into our news here. So our first topic today, Mitchell Ryan, who played Dr. Terrence Wynn from Halloween 6, has died. He was also Kyle Riker. But the Cult of Thorn mourns today, so we're very sad, us Halloween fans. Thad, are you a Halloween 6 fan?
I have not seen Halloween no matter what number. I am not familiar with his work in the Halloween franchise.
Well, it's very unfortunate that you haven't seen Halloween, the first one, but it's not unfortunate that you haven't seen Halloween 6, because it's not very good. So, anywho, I think Pulaski has shed a tear today, too, over this.
Most assuredly.
Most assuredly, so.
But William Riker probably hasn't.
No, definitely not. So dead at 88, so that's, 88's a long life. We lost Sally Kellerman last week. I think she was 84, I think we said she was.
Thereabouts.
About there, so, there's Star Trek actors. Star Trek's been around a long time, so, we're going to start having more news like this, unfortunately, so fans, prepare yourself, so.
Yep.
Yes. Anywho, okay, so let's jump into our episode discussion on the episode Rosetta, which is the 11th episode of Discovery's 4th season. Now, before we kind of get into our initial thoughts here, I'm going to say that CBS has made a terrible mistake by overlapping these two shows here, because having Picard come out is really, from what I've heard from everybody, I'm kind of off social media right now, it's really changed the focus of fandom right off the bat. And from what I've heard from people, like almost nobody is talking about Discovery other than Justin Oser. So
he's talking about both.
Because he's talking about both. So, but I really question them overlapping these. Like, I understand that we had Star Trek twice a week throughout 7 years of the 90s, the 80s and the 90s there. I guess for what was it, 90? Just the 90s, so for 7 seasons there.
Yeah, the full run of DS9, basically.
But those were on different days of the week, right?
It depended.
Generally,
it depended which
so.
market you were in, because DS9 was syndicated, so it did not have a specific airtime.
Yeah, okay. But I don't know, it just seems weird that they're doing this right now. Like even at the end of this, like 9 weeks from now when we get to the season finale of Picard, to have the season premiere of Strange New Worlds on the same night as well, because that's another one that people are super duper excited for. But I don't know, this is their choice, and we'll see what happens. We'll see how this pans out for them.
I'm less concerned about the Strange New Worlds Picard overlap, because it's the finale and the premiere. I think both will get a lot of buzz because it's the finale and because it's the premiere. I am very confused by this 3-episode overlap because, like you said, no one's talking about Discovery, and I can back that up. I just got off a boat. I was on the Star Trek cruise for the past week, and they showed both episodes there. They actually showed them on different nights because they didn't want to try to cram it into the schedule on the same night. So we saw Discovery a couple hours before it dropped in Paramount Plus, and then we saw Picard the next evening. And yeah, once people watched Picard, no one was talking about Discovery. Picard was a big freaking deal, and Discovery is definitely going to be overshadowed. I don't think it really matters what happens in the big reveal at the end of Discovery at this point, because people are going to be talking about Picard.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you think, Chrissy?
This is ridiculous. If it were, 94 or something like that, and it was an issue of, okay, so we're going to put the end of one on and the beginning of the other to make sure that people stay tuned, that makes sense. Yep. And I know I've said that before, and other people have said that before. If they had overlapped one, I would have understood it. Again, same kind of logic, kind of like what they're doing with Strange New Worlds. If they had moved it to a different night, it's streaming. You have complete control over when these episodes drop. Picard could have dropped on Wednesdays or Fridays or Mondays at 10 a.m. if they wanted. So why are they doing it this way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I watched Picard first, and like we're doing this episode first because we're releasing the Discovery first, but we can't not talk about this because they dropped at the same time for you. For most people across the world, they dropped at the same time. I watched Picard first because I was more excited about it, and when I finally got to Discovery, I couldn't even focus on it because I was just thinking about Picard. And like the first time I watched Discovery, I'm like, I didn't even care about this episode. Now, I enjoyed it much more on my second watch, right? So like I didn't hate this episode like I did. Like I was frustrated with the last one. There's a lot of good stuff in here, but I'm just like the first time I watched it, I was just thinking about Picard, and so I'm worried about that happening because I'm really excited for Strange New Worlds, right? I'm super duper excited for that. So I'm worried that like. Picard, for me, in season 1 kind of fizzled out at the last 2 episodes. I loved the stuff with Data. That's a long story. Go listen to us on the line if you want to hear my thoughts on it. But it fizzled out. And if this season fizzles out at the end, like every other season of new Star Trek has done for me, then I'm not going to care about the finale of Picard, and I'm going to be more excited for the start of Strange New Worlds, So I don't know. Like I would rather that they just kept it going and just delayed it another week and just had no overlap. I would personally rather that.
I think with Strange New Worlds, it's a little different though, because that there's nothing established. So like people coming into this, we're like, okay, we've been watching Discovery. We want to know what happens on that. We've been watching Picard, but this is a new season. We want to know what happens on that. When we get to the Strange New Worlds overlap, I think people are going to focus on Picard with the idea, like, in the back of their head that, okay, I can watch Picard, and then I need to catch the first episode of Strange New Worlds before the next one drops next week. And there's no chance that they're not going to do that, but it's not as urgent because it's not an ongoing story yet. Does that make sense?
Yes, but I'll say something different on this here. I know that we're kind of going on a weird topic tangent here, but, Picard, like most people were super duper excited for Picard, but there were a lot of people who ended up not liking season 1 of Picard. I think that there are more people who liked the Pike, Spock, and Una aspects of Discovery and are super excited for Strange New Worlds. I think there are more people in that camp than there are fans of Picard.
Oh yeah, I think Strange New Worlds is going to be huge compared to any of the shows they've aired so far. Yeah.
So the overlap just seems to me bizarre and unnecessary, but I don't know. That's probably all I got to say on the... Because it's happening. It doesn't matter what I think about it.
There's no real reason they need to do the overlap at all. Like, because I was surrounded by Trekkies this past week. I have talked about this with a few people. And, like, some people are saying, well, because they have so many episodes and they don't have time. I was like, no, they can set their own release schedule. They can release them whenever they want. They don't. It's not like they have to release them out by a certain date. They could have just stretched it out. I don't understand why they didn't just hold off on Picard another 3 weeks.
Wouldn't hurt anything. It's not like they got to worry about sweeps, and if they did, it would have been last month anyway.
Right.
Yeah. So, Anywho, okay. Well, let's move on to our discussion on the episode. Let's get our initial impressions. So my initial impressions were: first watch, I was like bored out of my mind because I was focusing on Picard. Second watch, I really enjoyed it. I thought there was some good stuff in here. I'm still frustrated that we have no idea who the 10C are, and we've only got 2 episodes left in the season. But there was some neat stuff in this episode here. So, Thad, what do you think?
Well, I think we'll find out who 10C are at the end of next week.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And
I don't know anymore.
I enjoyed the episode in general. I think we had some good character moments. I enjoyed some of the visuals. That was pretty good. I liked a lot of the episode. But yes, I also am getting very tired of how long they're dragging this out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Chrissy?
Yeah. Same thing. It was a good episode. Yeah, where's 10C?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How does 10C not notice somebody breaking through the barrier? This is not something that I'm assuming this is something that happens on a regular basis.
Yeah, I don't think they would control the barrier though, right? So it's not something that they're paying attention to, I don't think.
Well, not a matter of control, just a matter of like, hey, there's a thing.
Yeah, how is 10C so powerful that they've set up this area of space that no one can get into, and yet they don't have any sort of protective thing around the planet that they apparently came from?
Well, I guess they're not there anymore. Okay, so let's jump into this here, because I'm a little confused on this bubble that they're in outside of the galaxy. Okay, so like I don't think we know what we're going to be going there. So I'm trying to wrap my head a little bit around this episode. So they've jumped the barrier at the end of last episode. There's 2 directions they could have gone. They could have gone to this bubble where 10C is living. Instead, they chose to go to this other, like, basically destroyed planet, hoping to get evidence because they thought that 10C may have been there. Is that? Yeah. Am I understanding this episode right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, because that risk right there, I'm on Ndoye's side. Okay, like that is like based on that is like a ludicrous gamble to take.
I understand where they're coming from with that, and I think we can blame Burnham's anthropology background. But to me, this is like, I've landed on the coast of Italy in 2022, and in order to learn about the people there, I'm going to go look at some Roman ruins that I see on the way. It's not going to give you any information that's actually useful.
Mm-hmm. See, the thing that they're going for here is and it just, to me, it feels so forced, okay? Mm-hmm. So, like last episode, I don't know, I thought that the confirmation bias thing, it was not funny. It was like another line that was just silly.
But okay.
Well, what's his name? Dr. Hiria is laughing, right? Because he thought it was super funny. But it's like they prepped us for that episode to say, hey, we're now going to introduce you guys as fans have talked so often, all these, humanoid species and whatnot. We're going to have something different for you, and we're preparing you for that. We're dropping this in here to prepare you for the fact that this is not going to be a humanoid species. And so going to this planet, it had to be this because they're not going to talk to us in English with the universal translator. They're like, okay, they're going to talk to us with sand, right? With blue sand that you kneel in, right? That's how they're going to talk to us, right? And they're going to talk to us with emotions. So they're preparing us for that one step at a time. But it's too convenient. All of this is just too convenient in the plot for me right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can see that. So my understanding of the rationale for this is they have no idea how to communicate with 10C. They don't even know how to get into the bubble that they're in. So I think they were hoping, because they could tell that this area was inhabited by a species with the same technology as 10C. They assume it was 10C. So they're hoping to get some information, any information they have at all, about how to talk to them or how to get into their area. So I understand, yes, they want to, the time is of the essence, so it seems like they're making a detour, but at the same time, if they headed straight for 10C and then knock on the door and nothing happens, what do they do next?
Yeah. I get that.
Yeah. Like, so these bones that they found on the planet, right? Like, so that's obviously corpses of like 10C aliens that they're preparing us for. So these 10C are going to be like these massive floating creatures, right? Because their bones are like cartilage, they're very dense, they're designed to float in a gaseous atmosphere. And so it's going to be unlike anything that we've ever had communication with before. So, like, you know, one of the first things I thought of, like, a smaller version of is like the aquatics, right? From from the Xindi.
I
right?
was thinking Xindi arboreals, actually.
Xindi arboreals, okay. Oh man, what if they tied it into that?
That was my thought. My conspiracy theory now is, what if they're the missing Xindi arboreals?
This will be my favorite Star Trek ever if it is. So that'd be funny. So that'd be interesting here. So, but they're bringing us into setting us up for this completely alien species. So, which I think it's going to be neat. But I don't know. It all feels a little bit too convenient and forced in the plot and how we're getting this information right now and how they're prepping us for it as viewers. So,
actually, I got that wrong. It's the Ariels. We know the arboreals, right? The arboreals were the avians.
The avians.
That's it. The avians.
Yeah, so I knew what you meant.
Yeah,
right. Though, yeah. So, let's talk about General Ndoye here for a second here, because I kind of agree with Ndoye, like I just said here. I agree with her by saying this seems like too much of a risk. We're running out of time. We've got to go. You know, and I made this comparison last week to Star Trek The Motion Picture, but it's the same thing there, right? Where it's like we've got to go to the threat. We need to get there as quick as we possibly can. And they're not doing that. So So you agree? You think Ndoye is kind of on the right thing? I mean, at the end of the day, it's going to prove that Ndoye is wrong, right? And we need this information that we got this week. But I'm just saying that, I don't know, like when you get the information laid out to us at the start of the episode, it seems odd.
With the information that she has, that we have, yes, this doesn't make sense at all.
Right. Yeah, sorry, I agree with
and
you.
That's
and
it.
I don't really have much else to say.
Okay. Is there anything else we need to say about Ndoye then? I don't know.
She should have called security when Book showed up.
Well, yes.
Yeah, so like I'm okay with Ndoye working with Book. I liked how Ndoye challenged Book by saying, look, if you trust Burnham so much, why don't you just let her do her thing? And when he responds, he's like, I trust Burnham, but I don't trust 10C. And, you know, that's a good way to put it, right? So this is part of the reason why he's doing what he's doing is because these alien species have has destroyed his planet, destroyed his home planet. But I like that line a lot, and I appreciated it as an element to his justification for what he's doing. But I was kind of interested when Ndoye, I'm trying to remember what Ndoye said, but she's like, you've got to give Burnham a chance first, because she was so against it and she was so ready to listen to Tarina when she thought the message was coming from her. And then she's listening to Book and she's helping Book to try to set up an option to destroy the power source. However, she still has that hesitation in saying, you've got to give Burnham a chance. Does that seem like a conflict with that character?
Not to me. Because
no? Okay.
she's, well, only in the element that she agreed to talk to Tarina more, because that's the politic thing to do. She needs to do that because she's a head of state, Tarina's a head of state. So if another head of state with whom you have friendly relations requests to talk to you about something, even if you know you disagree, it's bad for him not to show up.
What I mean is Book is like, okay, we're going to destroy the power source, and Ndoye is saying, okay, I'll help you out, we'll get this all set up, but you've got to give Burnham a chance first. To Book, she said that.
Yeah.
That seems like a conflict in the character to me, no?
I think that's a matter of, you have somebody who's accustomed to a military structure, and that's what's been decided, so we're going to do that. Okay. There's also the element of, I told you so, if it doesn't work out.
What do you think?
That's petty, but...
Yeah. Do you think that's a conflict for Ndoye?
I think not necessarily. So, the way I see it, Ndoye is definitely... everything she said to Burnham is true in how she feels, but that doesn't necessarily mean she's giving up on what Burnham is doing. So, like, you can have reservations about something without wanting to throw it out.
Mm-hmm.
So I think she's still on board with Burnham's mission. She just personally would prefer if they went straight to 10C instead of checking out this planet, but that doesn't mean she wants to work with Book to undermine what Burnham is doing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, it'll be like, I think at the end of the day, it's like I want communication to be the key. I want communication to be the solution to all this. I don't want this to end in a battle, right? I don't know if we'll have a battle first and then we'll talk, but we'll see what happens next week, I think. So, but we're rapidly approaching the end of the season here. Rapidly approaching the end of the season. So, okay, so Dr. Haraya, you've written down here, is he too blunt? Do you think he's too blunt of a character? Chrissy, what do you think on this?
I don't. The reason I wrote that down was I kind of laughed at that because is he really any more blunt or tactless than
Stamets?
Yeah, Stamets, but is he really any more blunt or tactless than Kovich?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
He's socially awkward, right?
Yeah.
Like, as a character, right? So, like, I don't know, he's got these weird idiosyncrasies, like, he's always, like, eating, right? He was eating in the last episode, he's eating in this one. The one thing that I wanted to get your guys' opinion on, I wanted to get your opinion on the crossword puzzle scene. Because I'm like, the way they're filming this and the word that they're choosing, I'm like, this is supposed to be some big exclamation point hammer down thing when she writes down the word obligation and turns it to him. And I'm like, I don't know what they're trying to tell me here, but I think I'm supposed to feel something that this word is obligation.
The first time I watched it, I agree. The second time I watched it, it seemed more like she was just mic dropping by figuring out the word he couldn't figure out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we'll see.
But how, like, yeah, I know, like, it's a weird scene. I'm like, what am I supposed to feel from this scene here? This is a really bizarre scene. Because, yeah, the other thing could just be like, I found out this word, but it's like, I mean, I don't know, I'm playing Wordle with my wife, and I'm like, what's a 5-letter word that has this, this, and this? And she just tells me, and I put it in, and she's not like, booyakasha, right? Like, I don't know, it's just like, it's a puzzle, right?
She's not the president of the Federation, and you're not random guy, so.
Yeah, so, I don't know. Thad, what are your impressions on that crossword puzzle scene?
It was odd. But, I mean, it's fine. That's a standard movie, TV trope that goes back, a really long time, where someone will be working on a puzzle and they'll have a conversation, and at the end they'll say, and the word you're looking for is this. Like that, I have seen that happen so many times.
Or in a game of chess.
Yeah.
That's often, like, I'm going to make a point and then checkmate and walk away.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just a standard visual trope, or visual is the wrong word, storytelling trope that is used in shows.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I just felt like I was supposed to feel something, like she got something over on him, and that word, having obligation as the word, because usually that's what it is. Like, whatever the solution is like the key to the scene.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how is this the key to the scene? She's like, you better start talking nicer to these people. Obligation.
He's obligated to be more tactful, maybe?
Is he?
She wants him to feel that way.
Okay.
Don't think too hard.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So
although I will say, I want that game. I want a 3-dimensional crossword puzzle.
That does sound fun.
Please.
So, Book and Tarka sneaking onto Discovery here. So, this was interesting. I mean, we've had examples of their, so the sensors can't scan us with this thing before. Book's thing right at the beginning where he's like, what is this, Quajon thing? He's like, no, I want to keep my torso. And he doesn't tell him what he's doing. Like, why doesn't he tell him to duck? Just tell him to duck, because we're going to be going into a really small place. Like, is he that mad at him right now that he's risking having him killed in a beaming? I don't know. Because what if he, I don't know. So,
was Book really gonna let Tarka get decapitated if he hadn't asked about the crouching?
I don't know. That's the thing. Would he have? I guess the answer would be no. He would if Tarka duck, he would say, he would then say, you better duck because we're going into a small place, right? But he would rather be a dick and, like, surprise him with it, I guess. I don't know. So, change his name from Book to Dick. So, I don't know.
There's an episode title for you.
Cleveland Dicker. Anyways, okay, so we kind of talked a little bit about Ndoye, but let's keep going with this here. So, I mean, we got some bizarre stuff happening right at the end with the kidnapping of Reno, right?
Yeah. Like, of all the things to do there, why didn't he just beam away?
Because she would have sounded the alarm, right? She would have sounded the alarm.
Okay. But at the same time, Book's talking to Ndoye, and, that seems like less of a problem than kidnapping somebody. And did he take a bunch of stuff with her, too? Or was that there?
Probably some snacks.
It's candy. That's not food.
Candy. I mean, he put her in like a storage compartment or something, right?
Oh, okay. Then, that makes sense.
Put her force field in there, so I don't think he took anything with him. But, I mean, like, with Ndoye, they took a chance based on what they heard with Ndoye. They're like, look, she seems unhappy. Let's take a chance and reach out to her and tell her what we want to do. Because we heard her say that she would rather have action. Reno is a Starfleet officer. Ndoye is not.
True.
Right? And Reno came across them, Tarka, and found him hiding. So she's going to sound the alarm as if he just beams away. Now, I mean,
they're going to notice that she's gone, though, right?
They will, but they don't notice it right now while they're in warp, right? So the person who's going to notice is definitely going to be Linus.
Linus, because he's working with her, but it could also be Adira.
Yeah. So somebody's going to notice next week, and that's how they'll figure out that they're on there, but then Burnham will say, "Oh, this is like that time when we did that thing back in between."
Yep, that is
Hope
absolutely.
Is You Part 1.
You're right. That's going to happen.
Oh, he did that thing that we did. So, no, but I think actually Tarka.
Man, they did a lot of things in that year, didn't they?
They sure did a lot of things. So, but because who came up with the idea? Was it Book or Tarka that came up with the idea?
It was Tarka.
Of attaching themselves to the hull. Yeah. Okay. So Tarka came with it. So probably we won't hear it then, but. Anywho, I don't know. Like, this is interesting that they've kidnapped. I don't know how that's going to play out. I mean, Reno's smart, so it's either going to play out that they notice she's missing and scan and find the ship, or she's going to die hard this and escape and get back to the ship on her own and then sound the alarm. One of the two. So,
yeah,
but not before. No, I guess the cat's not on the ship right now. The cat's on Discovery, so.
Yeah, that's true. Grudge would have found her right away.
Yeah.
Nope, Grudge is hanging out in
Burnham's that's a very good point. I hadn't even considered that.
Okay, let's jump to the planet then. Let's jump to the dead planet here. So we're kind of plowing through this episode here.
Actually, I'm sorry. I do wanna mention that when Reno found Tarka, it's because Linus came to her with reporting the issues with the replicators, and we got another Lower Decks reference.
Yes!
Steamed bananas.
Banana hot. Banana hot. Mm-hmm. That was good.
Excellent. Yes, that's a cute little reference back to Discovery. Steamed bananas. You ever had a steamed banana?
Can't say that I have.
No,
neither have I. There's we have a friend who apparently in South Africa they eat bananas on pizza. So we have a South African.
Probably tastes better than pineapple.
No.
Well, I mean,
I can't say it. I don't know. I never had
that.
bananas.
Like plantains, you turn plantains into like chips.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had
allergic,
bananas in things like a dessert or something, like bananas Foster, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not sure I'd want to put banana on pizza. Not sure it would add much to it.
Mm-hmm. Be like a mushroom.
No, I feel like a mushroom has more flavor than a banana.
Okay, so let's jump to the dead planet here. So we're going to keep on track here with Discovery. So, okay, Chrissy, talk to me about this one here. The amount of assumptions being made is painful. Talk about this.
Oh, God. Okay. Well, first of all, I want to say, have either of you read Ringworld?
No.
Are you familiar? Okay, because that was the first thing I thought of when I saw that thing that it looks like, because Ringworld is basically a Dyson sphere. It's a Larry Niven concept, who wrote for the animated series, by the way, if I remember correctly. And it's basically like a Dyson sphere, but it's a ring instead of a full sphere. So, okay, put that aside.
Yeah, I thought of Halo, because you play on a big ring.
I've not played
on Halo.
So
I played it many, many years ago. I don't remember much about it, but that's what I thought of. But they talked about Dyson, the Dyson ring. So
yeah. It just made me think of Larry Niven. So, okay. So assumptions being made. First of all, we know nothing about these entities, these aliens, these people, however you want to term them. So make sure they set it to stun. Okay. What if that doesn't stun them? What if that kills them? What if they're made out of energy and it makes them stronger? Right? So that's ridiculous. But I know that's a trope. Okay.
That's confirmation bias.
It is, actually. The whole thing, yeah. Actually, I would have written that down if I thought of that, because that's what it is. The decision that they make when they see that the ones inside that area are young compared to the ones outside, okay? I assume, because he was comparing the DNA, it's the same species. One would assume that if they're talking about it being like a nursery, but I don't think they said it outright. And I was watching this with Jay and my sister and my sister's boyfriend, and I looked at them and I went, how do they know that that's not like a pen to keep veal in? You know?
That's
because of the emotions.
Good point.
I guess because of the emotions.
This was before the emotions, though, wasn't it? That they determined they were younger?
No, I think they determined that it was a... I don't know. I don't remember. So you could be right.
But it's just... It was one of those things like, okay, here's an animal. I mean, imagine, like... I'll use my Rome example again. Imagine walking into Pompeii and seeing, like, oh, there's the body of a person, and there's the body of a dog, and I'm going to assume that the remains of the dog are the child of the person. Okay. And then the last part that bothered me, how do we know the dust isn't toxic? One, because it seems pretty damn toxic at first. And two, how do we know that whatever they're feeling correlates with what the people on the planet felt? They're feeling love. Maybe that pheromone for the, whoever these people are is hatred. But again, all of this, the answer to all of this is that's the story. So I understand that. I'm done with that now. But that really brought me out of it. Really bothered me. And also, how do we know, or I kind of assume that the dust they're breathing in is just the remains of these dead people, which is gross.
So what gets me about that dust, beyond, the communication aspect of it, is I feel like the filters on their spacesuits are very poorly designed if they just ignore anything they don't understand. Yeah. They shouldn't be... These spacesuits shouldn't be letting anything through. It doesn't matter if it's not something it's familiar with or not. It should just not let anything at all. And the fact that once they're able to identify it and tell the suit not to let it through, the suit already knows it's going through, even if it didn't know what it was. Like, this seems like a really, really bad design. But beyond that... yes. What you were saying, Chrissy, about how you don't know the emotions match. Well, they're getting around that by pointing out that Kelpians and humans have very different physiology. So if the emotions are the same for the Kelpians and the humans, then it must be universal, which is still an assumption, but not as big of one, I guess.
No, I'll give you that one.
What if this was Klingon dust? Right? Because Klingons experience very different emotions than we do from very different circumstances, right?
See, do they though? Klingons have the same general emotions. They just don't always. They're their own culture, obviously, but I feel like Klingons experience love and hatred and sadness and happiness and all the other things that we do.
I was gonna say, you've made me think of that meme about the Klingon cuddle dungeon.
Yes.
Have you seen that one?
No, I haven't.
Yes.
It's a meme about how the Klingon equivalent of like S&M is going somewhere with comfortable couches and cuddling. totally off topic. I'm sorry.
But, like, I don't think that they do experience emotions the way they do. Because, like, when people die, they aren't sad like we're sad. Okay? So, like, they experience honor, they shout out to the gods, you know, they don't have tear ducts, so they don't cry like we do, right? So that's a physiological difference. But even, like, so they can't, I don't know that they feel sadness the way that we feel sadness for the things that we feel, right? So, so while there may be similar emotions, they're not going to feel the same emotions for the same things as us, you know?
Right.
So that's kind of an interesting thing there. Now, I want to say that this episode made me think of 2 other Star Trek episodes because of this. So I got strong vibes of Memorial from Voyager.
Oh, yes.
And Hatchery.
Okay, yes.
From Enterprise. So, you know, just because of, like, you go into the room and then you're feeling the emotions in order to protect the hatch, the Inzindia insectoids and whatnot. And then, you know, here you are, you've walked through the dust. So is the dust simply memories, or is the dust a design so that if somebody comes there, they can feel what they felt? We don't know.
Yeah.
But I think that's important, like, because it's like, is this an accidental thing that happened, or was this by design that this happened?
I can see plot points either way.
I think it's accidental, but I think it will be important to the story and helping them understand 10C in the next couple episodes. Mm-hmm. But I don't think it was like a deliberate, like Memorial on Voyager, which I have problems. I actually have a huge problem with how that episode ended, but that's not this episode.
I think we agree on that. We talked with James Swallow about that episode. So, but should Janeway have turned that thing back on? I think the answer is no.
No, she should not.
So, okay, so now I didn't have as much of I see what you're seeing about the suits. I didn't have as much of a problem with it as you did, but because I kind of like the idea, because yes, we can only build suits to filter what things that we know, and what happens when we come across something that we don't know, right? Something we completely don't know. Now, I understand your objection of the suit is registering it and letting it through kind of thing, and then they're just able to say, hey, don't do that.
Right.
That's kind of weird. So I get your point there. But I guess I like the initial idea of it that, hey, the suit can't filter everything.
Yeah.
For things that we've never come across before.
No, I liked that until they were able to flip the switch and then have the suit filter it out. At which point, that's where I lost, like, no. Because if the suit can filter it out, it always could have. And that's the part that bugs me.
Programmable matter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so...
okay. I have all sorts of problems with programmable matter, but we don't have the time to get into all of that.
Yeah. So, I don't know, like, there was some interesting stuff here. I'll point out the thing that just blew me through a complete and total loop is the bizarre lighting in the suits and how it made them all look like their eyes were pointing outwards.
I didn't notice that at all until you pointed it out, and then I still barely notice it, but
okay.
I'm sorry that it bugs you.
Yeah,
I'll tell you
know,
what bugs me about these suits.
Okay.
Everybody's wearing their division colors, except the command officers are wearing black.
I didn't notice.
Detmer's yellow, Culber's white, Burnham and Saru are black. That doesn't make any sense to me.
I didn't notice, so I'd have to go back and take a look. So, yeah, they should be wearing red.
Yeah.
Then, yeah. Mm-hmm. Red's not cool enough anymore.
I guess.
Next season, they'll be wearing black. As we get new uniforms.
Command black.
Command black. Because we get new uniforms every year, right? So
I mean, not always every year. Discovery had one year where they kept the same... Well, not everyone. Okay, yeah, kind of. We'll talk more about new uniforms in our next episode where we talk about Picard.
Yes.
No kidding. Okay, Fly Good. I was cringing at the Adira and the Detmer plot in this. What did you guys think of this?
I cringe at a lot of Adira parts, to be honest. Not like I like the character, and I recognize as someone who is myself very awkward at points. I appreciate it, but it gets a little too cringy at how awkward they are.
Okay, so then I'm going to ask you this question because you joined us afterwards. How do you feel about Tilly?
I'm very glad that Tilly and Adira are not both on the show at the same time anymore. I thought that was definitely too much of the same sort of thing. For the most part, I like Tilly. Sometimes she does get a little too awkward too, but she was never as awkward as Adira is shown to be.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I think you're right on that one. I think you're right. So, and I know that it's supposed to be awkward, but I don't know. This just seems very strange to me, this plot line to throw in at this point here. I don't know. It just seemed very strange.
I agree.
The only part I liked was when Adira tells Reno, sorry, I was thinking about Detmer, and Reno was like, when Gray's away.
Yes,
that
was
laughed.
perfect.
I laughed at that.
Yes.
The only reason I put that on the outline, I mean, the whole thing between the two of them, I think that's going to be a weird dynamic. I feel like that might be leading up to giving us a reason to care more about one of them so that they can kill them. But we'll see.
If they kill Detmer, I'm going to be annoyed.
Well, there's a little bit of shades of, all of the episode leading up to the death of Ariam.
Yes.
Like, all of a sudden we'll be friendly. But, no, I think that there's actually an important little tidbit in there because...
No. That's very different because all of that happened in one episode with Ariam.
Yeah, I know.
True.
It could have been... But this might be two.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
There's a itty bit of tidbit in there with the fly good. Who else told her to fly good? Exactly that way.
I don't remember.
Didn't Pike say that?
Pike.
Or something very... He either said fly good or fly fast. I can't remember which.
He said fly good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it was when he was talking to the bridge crew and he's like, you do this,
Yeah, he was telling them all their things and he's like, and Detmer, fly good. Yes.
So I feel like that's intentional. I can't imagine it wouldn't be.
But, it's intentional from
why?
the writers to us, but it couldn't have been intentional from Adira because there's no way Adira would have known about that.
No, but is that supposed to give us a clue of like, hey, this Adira is going to end up being a good captain because of this?
Holy smokes, Adira's going to be Pike? Really? Wow, this is going to tie us straight into... This is crazy.
All right, maybe
crazy.
I said don't think too hard earlier. I guess I'm thinking too hard, but I did like that connection. So.
Adira is going to be on Strange New Worlds. That's what it's telling us.
Yeah.
Ooh, interesting. So this would be an interesting
Time
season
travel,
finale.
timey-wimey.
Yeah.
They'll show up
That
in
would be funny.
Picard and then go back further.
At the end of the season, we just see this bizarre flash of Georgiou come in, swipe and grab Adira as she's traveling through time.
Yes.
Right? And goes back to Strange New Worlds time.
Yeah.
No, but Georgiou has to go back to the 22nd century so that Section 31 Season 1 can be Enterprise Season 5.
I love it.
That'd be awesome. Before we step away from this, I think it is important that we found out that Detmer had a bad childhood.
Yes.
So just we don't know much about it other than it sounds like either her father was just mentally ill and that was something she was left to deal with as a child, or he was mentally ill and abusive.
That was the impression I got, that he
Me
was
too.
mentally ill and abusive.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's important for the character. It's good that we're getting character information. Can one of these characters have had an untraumatic life? Is that too much to ask?
No, I think because you've said it yourself, it's these this is Discovery's theme is trauma, right? And
Yeah,
so
that's
everybody has had trauma.
I guess.
So, yeah.
Did Awosokan have trauma? I don't remember her saying it
We know
in
that
childhood.
Awosokan grew up in a Luddite cult.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
We
that's
don't really
right.
know much about that, but we know that.
I don't think she used the word cult. I think she used community.
Someone used cult. I think it was Burnham called it a cult.
She did say community. I don't know who. I don't remember about the cult part. But if Burnham used cult, it was in an anthropological perspective.
Yes,
And
but because
yes, that's a
it came
different
up in New Eden, and I
Yeah.
think they called it a cult, but I could be wrong.
Well,
I
but
will-
that's you're right because didn't her family got kicked out because they didn't want to be quite so Luddite-like, if I remember correctly. So there's that. Okay. Linus. We don't know anything about Linus's childhood. I'm sure it was lovely. He sat on a rock and it was warm, and he only occasionally got a cold. It was fine.
No, I already know Linus' backstory. He was dropped when he was an egg.
Oh,
Anywho.
I mean, maybe Bryce had a perfectly good childhood. We don't know. But...
Yeah.
We'll never know because he's gone now.
Yeah.
Or no, that's Reese that's gone.
Reese
now. So
that's
I'm bad
gone.
with character names. I'm bad with character names. Bryce, Reese, I mean, those sound so similar too as it is. So, But I don't know. Are we going to see Reese again, do you think?
Maybe?
I think that it depends on what.
I mean, Reese went off
Kovic
with
is doing.
Kovic, right? So they'll probably show up at the end to, like, provide some important information.
Yeah. When are we going to see Tilly?
I'm thinking Tilly will show up at the very end. There'll be some sort of celebration for, you know, saving the universe again, and Tilly will be there.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe
Possibly.
Tilly is 10C in the future. Okay, I just had to do that. I'm sorry.
10C is just some gigantic ball of red hair.
Anyway.
Okay. So we've kind of talked about that. The last thing is, just because we're kind of hitting it on the way out of the episode, or anything else you want to talk about the dead planet or anything on the planet?
Not really.
Okay. No. This just reminds me about how grateful I am that Saru has lost his ganglia. This just reminds me so badly about how happy I am that happened. And so, Culber's troubles here. So the ending of this episode here. We're still going on with Culber here, and it's like he was yelling at a droid a couple weeks ago, and then they kind of dropped it, and then now they're bringing it back. And I'm not sure where they're going with this here.
It all comes back to everyone has trauma.
Yeah.
I mean, we already knew Culber has had plenty of trauma. He really has gone where no man has gone before. I mean,
and now he's gone where no mushroom has gone before too, right? Because he's a mushroom now, right? So.
Yes.
But yeah, we'll see where it goes, I guess.
You know, Burnham says no one's okay. Yep, no one is okay. And I think this is supposed to also be a reflection of COVID and all of that. But there's a difference between no one is okay and here's a man who had a trauma in that he was murdered. Then he came back as a partial mushroom after spending, we don't even know how long he perceived the time as that he was being attacked by the stuff in the mycelial network. Okay. And then he doesn't really deal with that completely. He decides he's going to leave his partner, and then he decides he's going to stay with his partner, and then they get thrown in time forward 900 years, and he still hasn't had a chance to deal with the first thing.
Yeah.
So I think we're on the verge, somebody who's on the verge of a genuinely deserved, maybe, I don't know if that's the right word, a nervous breakdown. And that is going to be completely legitimate. He could just shut down right now and it would be completely legitimate. How he's still functioning, I don't know. So,
well, like most of them though have been through a lot. I think at this point here, if season 5 was just 10 episodes of them vacationing on Ryza,
it'd be great.
we would still be dealing with trauma because the conflict would be all of them wondering when something bad was going to happen to them.
It would also be terrible because there are no good Ryza episodes. Well, okay, Captain's Holiday
Sin,
is a good episode,
no,
but after that...
Let he who's without sin, I don't know. You know.
Wait, really?
We get Dax in a bathing suit, right? So it's not all bad.
Worf becomes a terrorist.
Yeah. It's not a great episode. It's not.
Okay, well, it doesn't have to be Ryza. They could all go wherever they want to go for vacation.
There we go.
Wherever they want to go. They could go to Navarre for vacation. The beaches of Navarre. So, anyway.
That's where Saru would go.
It would be a good vacation for Saru.
Except he would need a lot of, like, can you imagine how, because he's basically an amphibian, right? So he would have a heck of a time. They'd have to, like, keep him coated in, like, lotion or something.
Okay.
Anyway.
Okay, so, and then here we are at the end of the episode. Still don't know much. They're on their way. I don't know how they're going to get through, but they're on their way. And we got the book ship cloaked and attached to their ship.
With Reno kidnapped.
With Reno in the hold.
And we get more dragging out of the will they, won't they with Saru and the president of Navarre.
Yes. Well, they're going for a walk.
I think that's a nod to they will.
I think they will.
I think that's the answer.
Yeah.
You know.
I will, full disclosure, when I watched this episode in a theater filled with other Trekkies on the cruise, and when that scene came up, I yelled out to the crowd, "Yeah, get it, Saru."
And what did the audience say?
There was some laughter.
Good. Rightly so. That's good.
Excellent.
Why is not get it to Rena?
Well, that too. Yeah, obviously.
Come on.
Because we have more emotional investment in Saru.
Yeah,
like, it's not, I mean, obvious. One would presume that Saru is a very conscientious lover, so if he's getting it, then she is also getting it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't disagree there. All right.
Yeah. Okay, so we're left at a transition point again. We still don't know much about anything, so except that they're very large and they can float. So, and I guess we're assuming that they don't speak, and they're assuming they only do emotions. So, it's not a terrible episode. There was some good stuff, but I mean, this is far from great.
I think it's a bit of a stretch to assume they don't speak. They might speak. We can't tell just by their dead bodies whether or not they speak or not.
I don't know. It'll be interesting. I think that's the point of this episode, is to prepare us for the fact that they communicate through emotion. That's what they're preparing us for.
That's certainly possible.
That's
but
why
I
we did this
wonder
mission.
if it's just emotion is the way we can establish common ground. But I imagine they may still very well have other communication among themselves of more than just emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there was actually a Star Trek book, so canon connections and whatnot. There was a Star Trek book that I thought of when they said that there's an alien species that only communicates through sense of smell. And it made me think of the Nanotech War, a Voyager novel, where Paris is like, I can't remember if he's lost his memory or whatnot, but he's like away from Voyager, and he's on this planet with this species of alien, and whatever happens with them, their emotions, it triggers a really strong sense of smell, and so he's able to tell how they're reacting by their sense of smell. But the aliens themselves can't really smell it; they don't have a sense of smell. So, like, the whole book is like Tom Paris talking about how these aliens smell a certain way and whatnot. And I don't know. So, like, he mentions that to them at the end of the book or whatnot. It's been a long time since I've read it, but it was called the Nanotech War. Made me think of that. So,
I have not read that one.
Other than the hot bananas, anything else you thought of canon wise, connection wise?
No.
It's probably a ton. So, anywho. Thad, do you want to take a few minutes to talk about the cruise before we go?
Sure.
Tell us about the cruise. I forgot to do that at the top of the show, and then you mentioned it right away. I'm like, dang it, I forgot to talk about the start.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So I was on a ship with a bunch of Trekkies and Star Trek actors for a week. It was really cool. Got to watch Discovery and Picard live in a crowded theater filled with other people who were reacting, so that was a lot of fun. I mean, it's basically a convention at sea, so if you've been to Star Trek conventions, just figure a very long, drawn-out convention over 7 days, but not necessarily constantly doing panels. It's more stretched out, and you can spend as much or as little time doing that as you want, and you could just do a regular cruise, although if you're just doing it as a regular cruise, you're paying way too much money. But it was a lot of fun. We went to a couple ports in the Caribbean. Got to see some of the actors do some things. They do like talent things that you don't normally see at conventions. Like Anthony Rapp had a concert, which was cool.
That's cool.
One night they played Star Trek Squares, which is just Hollywood Squares with Star Trek actors.
Nice.
I saw an Enterprise panel with John Billingsley, Connor Trenier, and Anthony Montgomery that was I can best describe it as gloriously off the rails. You kids cannot go on the Star Trek cruise, so you don't get the attempt at restraint and trying to stay family friendly that you get to for panels and conventions. So, like, things get very blue at times in some of the games in the panels.
That's great.
I just listened to John Billingsley and his wife do the audio commentary for Regeneration just yesterday, or I guess Friday, just a couple days ago, and like every joke was about how like they were like having affairs and whatnot on each other.
Right, yeah. So like you get a lot of that kind of thing.
Like,
Like the Enterprise panel started with John Billingsley coming out 10 minutes before it started, saying that he would buy whoever asked Connor or Anthony the most embarrassing question at a drink. So yeah, it got very
Good setup.
got very interesting. Let's just say.
what was the most embarrassing question?
Well, the final question, the one that ended it, was someone straight up asked which cast member had the largest penis. Which caused Anthony Montgomery just stood up. He's like, "Really? You're gonna ask that? You know it was me." And
That's funny.
That's good.
Awesome. You had a good time though. It sounds like.
oh, it was great. It was fantastic.
You've been before, right?
Yeah, this was the second time.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
The first time was right before the world ended, and this was sort of when
Right after.
the world is crawling itself out of that. But there are other things causing the world to end now. So but yes, no, it was a lot of fun. Great time. The next one is next year, next February, sailing out of Los Angeles, actually. And I'm already signed up for that. I know they'll be opening them up for sale either next week or the week after for other people. If you do want to go on, which I do recommend, if you enjoy Star Trek conventions, then this is the sort of thing, because you'll see lots of people lots of friends. We're all one big Star Trek family and all that. And, I mean, it's a much more relaxed atmosphere than a normal convention. But you can rush around doing a whole bunch of things all day long, but you don't have to. And I think I would recommend also, if you don't actually want the raunchy comedy, you don't have to go to those things. There's plenty of...
They force you to. No, they drag you there.
Yeah, there's plenty of less seedy things that happen.
Which do you prefer, the cons at Vegas or the?
I think I
cons
like
on
the cruise better than Vegas.
Yeah,
and I really enjoy Vegas, but I think I like the cruise better. I'm gonna try to do the cruise every year. It's just a ton of fun.
Did you room with somebody this year?
Yes, I was there with a good friend of mine that we had been together last time, and that's the other thing. You can go by yourself. You do end up paying more because cruise ships will charge you an additional surcharge if you are single occupancy in the room, because then you'll be buying less things on the ship and they won't make as much money that way. So
Yeah.
But you can, and the rooms that you can stay in vary wildly in price, because the interior stateroom with no window is cheap, and then you can go all the way up to like a giant balcony place for several $1,000s.
So you'd recommend it?
I highly recommend it if you can do it. They do also offer payment plans, so like you don't have to drop all the money at once, but if you want to sign up for it, definitely do it soon, because this typically sells out in a few weeks.
Yeah, they're popular, so. Awesome, excellent. Well, I think that's what we got for this week's Discovery episode. Anything else you want to add? No? Thad, where can people find you when you're not eating your hot banana?
Oh, God. That sounds dirty. The best place to find me is on Twitter, where I'm at Tyrannicus. That's Tyranicus. You can also listen to me on the James Bond podcast that I do with my friend Carl Wonders, and that's called License to Spiel. That's license spelled the British way with a C. And you can find that wherever you find your podcasts.
Mm-hmm. Chrissy, where can people find you when you're not crawling around the inside of your walls at your house and spying on Jay?
I don't even know where to go with that. Right. In addition to here on Infinite Diversity, you can find me on History with the Szilagyi here on the UFP Network. And that is the twice-weekly podcast I do with my fellow historian partner, Jay. And I'm happy to chat about our shows in the Federation Council Chambers on Facebook. And I'm on Twitter at The Goddess Livia. That's TheGoddessLivia, where I tweet about Star Trek history and leftist politics. And I will also say that I did not do a Chrissy's History Corner here because the episode of History with the Sluggies that dropped on Thursday was about the Rosetta Stone, which is the reference here in this episode, so go listen to that.
Mm-hmm. Excellent, right on. And as for me, when I'm not freaking out because I walked through some blue dust, you can find me here on the network with another show called Franchise Fatigue, which is all about movies, remakes, and sequels. And you can find me on Good Evening, an Alfred Hitchcock podcast over on the Fandom Podcast Network, where my co-hosts Chris and Tom and I cover all of Hitch's films in chronological order. As for the network here, you can find other shows. All Good Things has Amy Nelson and Mark White discussing all Star Trek all the time. Rhea Papageorgiou, Kevin Scharf, Amy Nelson, and Joe Keegan discuss all TNG all the time aboard the Galaxy class. Mickey's Marvels is all things under the Disney umbrella, hosted by Chris Chibuzio, Patrick Devlin, and Casey Pettitt. Always Hold On to Arrow is Kavante Chillis and Lance Laster discussing everything that makes Arrow Arrow. And last but not least, we have Sasquatch, which is a Bigfoot multimedia podcast hosted by Ken Tripp and Zach Moore. Thank you very much for tuning in to Infinite Diversity. Thank you to our executive producers, Ken Tripp, Tony Robinson, and Zach Moore. Thank you to Zach Tripp for the wonderful theme music and Tony Robinson for the awesome show art. Please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, and please subscribe. If you want to reach out, you can find the network on Twitter at UFP Earth, or our show in particular at ITIC Podcast. You can also talk about any and all of the UFP shows in our Facebook community group called the Federation Council Chambers, or you can email us at infinitediversity@ufp.earth. On the next episode, we'll be taking a look at the Season 2 premiere of Picard entitled The Stargazer. Until then, peace and long life.
This has been a production of MTMR Media Works.
3D crosswords. Wait till we get 3D Wordle.
I don't like Wordle.
What?
Wordle is so random. It's like, okay, I'm going to punch 5 words in, or 5 letters in. Okay, it's not those. Maybe it's something else. No.
Well, I mean, you can, but based on how it was not that, you can then guess what the next one is.
Yeah.
But give me a clue as to what it is. You do get a clue.
You get 5 of them.
So no,
I bet, person, place, thing, animal, smaller than a bread box,
But you get clues based on which letters are right and which are wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I meant,
yeah.
In all of the 600,000 words there are in English, and however many of those are only 5 letters, I'm supposed to figure out one?
Well,
without
based on
knowing what it is to start with?
I mean, there's only so many words that'll have the specific letters that you figure out are in it. I play Wordle every day. I also play Treckle, which is the Star Trek version of Wordle.
I've played a couple Treckles, yeah.
Sometimes when I'm feeling like challenging my brain and realizing I'm not as smart as I think I am, I play Quordle, which is where you play 4 Wordles at once.
I like that one. I
never get the 4th one. I always only get about 3 of them before I run out of tries.
Yeah, Quordle's fun. There's a new one called Hurdle, which is like music.
Yes, where you hear the beginning of a song and you have to get yes. And then there's
I played 2 days.
I
played 2 days in a row. The first day I got it right off of the first 1 second guess. Then today's one, I didn't even know the song. I've never even heard the song before. So.
And there's also Worldle, where you get the outline of a geographical place, and you have to guess where it is, and it'll tell you which direction it is from the thing you guessed.
Ooh.
Now, see, that's a clue.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, there's a thing that's shaped like that. And if you know geography... All right, we're turning into the Wordle podcast.
We're doing everything we can not talk about this Discovery episode here. We should probably get back to Discovery here.